Alright, here's your tutorial for the universal design activity, and we'll be doing a couple things today, partly throwing a floor in. We'll get you a little kind of going on the patio as well, building in a ramp, and getting some files placed in from Revit City. Alright, so with that said, we'll kind of go ahead and get started. The first thing you should do at this point, you probably have your floor plan, maybe even have a couple doors and stuff in there as a reminder. Oh, it's wanting me to save the project here. I will just save it to my desktop for now as an example. Okay, so this is my affordable housing example. All right. So again, always save often, save well, save often, and you want to make sure. Again, if you're working on the virtual machine, make sure you're saving it to documents that you can find. Okay, so anyways, here's doors here, and as a reminder, you can always load family. This is one of those things that I don't think people really get into until they get used to using Revit, but you can always look up different types of doors and different types of components, windows, things like that as needed, depending on what you're trying to do, right? So feel free to kind of play around with those options for you. For example, I might change to a 2-panel wood door. I hit open. You can choose your size here. Let's go ahead and do a wider door. So I might do a 3-foot wide door. Hit OK, and I'll stick my door in here, for example. Alright, now with that said, the main thing for this particular video is starting by putting in a floor, right? So when you're doing floors, you can again choose your type here. For example, I might change it to a concrete floor, just for the sake of example. Actually, I might use the concrete on metal deck. Okay, so the one we've been using before was the boundary line, right? So you can kind of select that, and that'll grab the walls. Right now it's set to the inner wall. You can hit these arrows, and it'll push it to the outer walls. That way it lines up to the edge. That's probably the more appropriate way of doing that. But you can also come over here and you can add lines, right? So you can kind of place the floor in more exact spots to where you want it. And I'm going to make mine also include a little patio area, like a front patio landing area, and that's where the doors will go to. Right. The main thing there, you just want to make sure it closes, has a closed shape. Once you do that, you hit the check mark, and it'll give you your floor. Okay. Also, if you remember, if you don't have a 3D view here, you can either click on View and click on 3D View there. There's also actually a shortcut up at this top section right here. That you can click on, as you can see right there, and that'll put you also into 3D mode. I noticed that this wall is actually way out of proportion, and so what I'd want to do is, looks like I lost my properties menu there. What I'd want to do there is select these couple walls. I'm holding Control down to select multiple things, and it looks like I didn't constrain my top constraint. I want that to go to level 2, which is my roof right now, and that looks much better. Okay, and on that note, I'll go ahead and rename this right now while I remember to the roof. Okay, and say yes. Okay, so right now I've got my front door. Actually, let me go ahead and put in a front door. I'll go to my floor plan view, go to architecture, doors, and let's see here. It doesn't have any of my exterior doors. I'll go to load family, come over here to doors again, and I will choose a residential. Let's do this one with the arch doorway. Okay, that looks nice. I'll hit open. Again, we want it to be a little bit wider, and I'll go ahead and make it. Yeah, let's do this 7-foot door. There we go. 3 foot by 7 foot. I'll load that up, and I'll put it right in the middle of my wall there. Okay, so there's my exterior door. Things are looking pretty good. And again, you can always check your 3D view, see if things are coming along right. Okay, looks good right now. Okay, so the next thing we'll kind of start doing is, let's go ahead and start doing our bathroom. All right, so typically when we're doing bathroom, we're going to place components. All right, so I'm going to hit component there, and you can, when you hit this drop-down menu, I'll give you the most recent things. Depending on what you've been making, it might look very different from mine. So what I'm going to do is go to load family. right? And under load family, this is where I can find all of the associated things that I might be working with. Okay, so for us right now, I'm thinking probably plumbing. Oh, sorry, plumbing. That's right. Probably fixtures. Right. So if you saw where I went with there, again, I can start finding toilets. Right. So for this one, let's go ahead and let's do the. Again, you want to choose the 3D option. 2D will only show up in what's it called, floor plan views, but you wanted to show up also 3D, so I'd always choose this 3D option. Okay, so I'm going to select that one, and once you pull that in there, you can place it wherever you want. I'll just, for the sake of example, I'll put mine right along the wall there. Okay. Notice that when you have it selected, you can rotate it around. You can kind of flip things around as you want to. In this case, that's not doing much for us. But if you want to actually turn it, you'd want to go to this rotate tool. Right? And the way that does is you first lock in a spot you're going to rotate around. Okay, so I'll click on that. And then let's say I want it to be 90 degrees from there. It'll flip for me that way. Okay. And anytime if you click on it, you can also use your arrow keys to kind of move it around depending on where you want it. Okay, so let's just say that looks pretty good for where I want my toilet right now. Right. I also want to continue placing things like, let's see, I have my toilet in there. Let's go and grab a bathtub really quickly. Again, I was in plumbing, architectural, fixtures, and yeah, let's grab a bathtub. Okay. So in this case, we'll use let's do the rectangular one. Sure. Actually, no, let's do a freestanding one just for fun. Okay, so a freestanding tub. I'll pull it in there, and it looks like it'll fit right in there, so that's perfect. I'll place that in there. All right, now the other part that's a little bit trickier that I'll kind of let you play around with to some extent, but it's putting things like sinks in. Okay, so now I'm going to load family. Let's go back over to plumbing. I believe I saw it there under fixtures, and here's sinks. All right, so here's some kitchen sinks. For us, for the bathrooms, you probably want to do some sort of a vanity, right? So there's a round one, there's a square one. Let's go ahead and do a round sink at this point. Okay, so I'll select that one. And as I pull it in here, we'll do a Jack and Jill one, right? So we can have maybe 2 sinks placed in there. Okay, now when you go first look at this, let's go to my 3D view and take a look at where I'm looking at right now. Okay, so I'll rotate this around. Sometimes if you want to get a better view of things, you can click on, let's say, these 2 walls. I'll right-click on it, and you can go to Hide in View. If you want, you can hide the entire category, so hide all the walls. I'm just going to hide those elements. Okay. So right now you can kind of take a look here. The tub and the toilet look pretty good. My sinks are just kind of floating in place. Okay, so probably what I want to do is I want to actually insert some cabinet work. Right, so come back over to Components, Load a Family, and for that one, that would be under Casework. Okay, so in this example, I might want to grab a couple base cabinets. Right, so let's see here. We've got base cabinet, single door things. Here we go. This looks pretty good. So I've got a vanity cabinet double door sink. Right, so that sounds like probably what I want. Right, so I'm going to click on that one, and when you first pull it in, you'll notice that I'll just kind of place it along the wall here. Okay, it looks like I might want actually 2 of these, so let's go ahead and put those in there. And now let's take a look at my 3D view to kind of see what things are looking like. And that's actually placed pretty well, right? So at that point, I might want to kind of just center. I'm just using the arrow keys to kind of move my sinks so that it looks like they're in a better spot. Again, I might need to rotate back around to my floor plan view. I notice that they're actually too far out, so I'll move them in again. Again, I'm just clicking on them using the arrow keys to generally place them right now. Okay, they don't have to be perfect. We'll keep refining this as needed. Okay. Right, now after this, what I'm going to want to do is probably actually add some countertops. Okay, so again, I go to Component, Load Family, And from there, let's see here, I think it's still under casework. Here we go, countertops. Alright, so at that point, I got, again, vanity countertop with a round sinkhole. That looks like what I want. I'll hit open there, and when I pull this in, I'll notice that it's actually a little bit too big, right? So what I need to do is make some edits, and you can actually do the sink location more specifically here, so you can get that, but you can also use kind of these edges to kind of pull things in and around depending on what you're trying to do. That was not terribly helpful there. There we go, that looks better. All right, so again, I'm going to try to get this to line up nice and pretty to the edges. Looks like I need to move that over and move this over a little bit. Let's see what I've got there. Oh, looks like I flipped those, so let's move that. This needs to be a little bit tighter around the edge. Alright, so hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing there. I'm making sure that that hole fits in that spot, making the countertop edges fit to where mine is there. Right, so I might need to pull a second one in so I can cover that other sink. But for the sake of example here, I just wanted to show you. So I'll go back to my 3D view, and now I see that I've got my sink in place with the countertops. Okay? And at any time point, you can also change things about it. If you click on it, for example, this countertop right now, I could change the offset so it's higher up or lower, things like that, depending on what you're trying to do. Okay, so that part you can play around with, and it looks like this video is already running a little bit long, so I'm going to create a second video to show you guys how to get the ramp and some of these other components placed in. But as I said that, actually, I'll leave it at that for now. We'll get a second video going here for the other parts.